We are back here on Girl Talk. We're at Custom Audio Video with our friend Carlos Ramos, and it's always so much fun to talk with you.
Thank you. Likewise.
I love it when I walk in because you're like, here's what we're doing. And I learn so much. I'm so educated beyond my intelligence about all these custom audio video things now. Today's going to be a lot of fun, though. We're going to talk about speakers.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us a little bit.
So, you know, when people are looking for a high fidelity experience, there are a lot of aspects, a lot of different components that can come into it. And they're all very important, whether we're talking about a preamp, whether we're talking about a digital analog converter, or whether they're actually talking about something like the cables that connect everything. Those can play an important factor in the sound. But what is probably the most glamorous part of the whole thing is picking out your speakers.
And it's so interesting because when I came in and you were talking to me about speakers, you said that there's a huge spectrum is what I'm trying to get out.
Enormous and enormous. And also for different functions, right? So are you going to be using speakers in an outdoor or an indoor environment?
All right.
Are you going to be using them for ambient sound, so for just like music playing in the background? Are you going to be using them for a surround sound system? Or are you going to be using them for critical listening, you know, listening to the latest album of your favorite artist and sitting down and really giving that album a good listening? And different speakers will perform different functions, and some will have cross functions as well.
Well, I want to talk us through some of the different speakers and what we need to know.
Okay, so if you're talking about outdoor speakers, that kind of covers the ambient that I was talking about. And over here on this wall over here, we have what are called AM1s by Bowers & Wilkins. And what the AM1s do is they have an enclosure that keeps them weatherproofed. They have rear bass so that you get a really great bass performance. And they are mounted on a wall, which allows them to be rotated, whether you have them mounted so that they can be rotated left and right or up and down at 110 degrees in any angle, really.
Are you seeing more and more people with outdoor kitchens and living outdoors? Of course, we're in the low country.
Actually, we see that quite a bit. So we are doing a lot of outdoor grills and outdoor kitchens, and that's basically what we've got. We recently did an installation where you have a number of them going around. You have a couple in the outdoor kitchen area where the television set is, and you have some more over by the pool and the sauna area, and it really is an amazing environment. You can even have them separated so that you can have some audio coming out of the kitchen area. So let's say you're watching the game over there, and the people who are lounging by the pool could be listening to some mellow jazz.
See, I love that. All right, second kind of speaker.
So let's go into ambient and crossing over into surround sound. So here we have some different types of in-wall and in-ceiling speakers. And here you're looking at one of the Bowers & Wilkins 600 series speakers. What's great about these is that they have this grill, which is magnetically fitted, so it can very easily be mounted and blend into just about any kind of surface. They can also be painted. They have a Kevlar cone, and they have a tweeter which rotates and can be repositioned. So if it is, say, for home theater and you're seated in a specific area, that tweeter will be rotated and pointed towards that specific area.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot to know. When I come in, can you guide me through the process?
Absolutely. So when you come in and you say, I want to get some audio for my home, the first question that we ask you is, how are you going to be using this audio? In the lines of what I had first mentioned, is it going to be surround sound? Is it going to be critical listening? Or is it just something that you're going to have playing in the background? Something, you know, people have speakers installed in everywhere from their living room to their kitchen to their bathroom, right? Yeah,
exactly. And it makes a lot of sense. You said there are some speakers here and here that you want to talk about too.
Yeah, absolutely. So in what we call room 1, we have CM10s, and these CM10s are more for critical listening, or they can also be incorporated in the surround sound. Now, what Bowers & Wilkins has done is something rather unique. They have isolated their speakers. So they call, their tweeters, and they call it decoupling. And there are lots of manufacturers that decouple their speakers, but the way Bowers & Wilkins does it, in the CM10 you'll notice that the tweeter is not only separate from the body of the speaker, which what it does is it reduces resonance or distortion going from that cabinet up to the tweeter, but the tweeter itself is also inside that cone seated within a gel pocket. Which further reduces the distortion and helps that tweeter to really reproduce the best highs possible.
And is that for critical listening?
It can be for critical listening or for surround sound, right?
Okay,
so
got
how
it.
important is your surround sound to you? You know, there are some that for the surround sound just have those ambient sounds would be fine, but there are others that want the best sound reproduction possible. So you could use a combination of the ceiling speakers that we took a look at to be, say, like your rear speakers, but you can also use the CM10s or speakers like them to be your front speakers to reproduce the best sound possible in front of you.
At what point in a purchase of audiovisual audio equipment do you come in and look at speakers? Is it the first thing you do?
I would say that it could be at just about any point. For most people, it is one of the first things they do. As I mentioned earlier on, frequently what people do is select the speaker that they want and then kind of build around it, because depending on the speaker that you want, there are only certain types of amps that you can use, right? Or the best, not only the certain types of amps, but the best type of amp to feed power to that speaker properly, to produce sound as well as possible.
And you can do all these speakers retrofit, you can do, so anything.
Absolutely, from the point where you have no drywall up in your house to retrofitting after you've lived in your house for 10 years.
You know, when Carlos comes, it's always a treat for us because we learn something. But here's the takeaway I always have when I talk to you. You all are the pros. And don't be intimidated, because you're also very user-friendly. And what I mean by that is you will sit with us and really talk us through it, so that you make it understandable. And I think that's pretty
And we want to give the best solution that fits your needs.
Which I love. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us here on Girl Talk. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye now.